You know that saying about being the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with? Well, it turns out that applies to your bank balance too. I came across this tweet recently that stopped me in my tracks. Steve from Twitter said, by age 30, you should have a group of friends that talk business, money, and fitness, not politics and pop culture. Now I get it, it's easy to scroll past something like that. Maybe think it's just another motivational post. But if you really sit with it, it's brutally true. Because the people you spend time with aren't just shaping your habits, they're shaping your ambitions. Whether you know it or not, they invisibly set what normal looks like to you. If you're around people who want to get fitter, build something, learn, grow, that energy rubs off. If you're around people who complain, gossip, and spend every penny they make, that rubs off too. And it's really dramatic. It happens quietly. You don't suddenly wake up one day and say, oh no, my friends are holding me back. You might just notice that your goals got smaller, your effort dropped a bit, and suddenly things that once felt ambitious now feel kind of unnecessary. Let's bring up that tweet again. By age 30, you should have a group of friends that talk business, money, and fitness, not politics and pop culture. And honestly, he's bang on. I know to some it might seem preachy, but I consciously chose not to think about it that way. And that's a strong thing you can take from this video straight away. If you see something or read something, you can choose how you feel about it. You can choose to see the good in it, take a learning from it maybe. You can choose to ignore it, feel nothing and move on. Or you can choose to look at it negatively and feel it's preachy and that it shouldn't have been said or posted and that people shouldn't judge. Whatever it is, you get to choose. And it's not about what that other person who posted it was feeling or what their motivations were. It's how you choose to take it. Not choosing and just letting whatever comes is also a choice, by the way. But that conversation is for another time. Now let's look at our own lives. Maybe the last day or the last week. Think about your last conversation with your friends. What did you talk about? The latest Netflix series? Who's dating who? This person is like this? Or did you talk about that investment opportunity you're considering? That business idea you've been mulling over? That financial goal you've been moving towards? Here's what I've noticed. When I'm around people who constantly moan about money, who think the system's rigged, who believe wealth is for other people, guess what? My mindset shrinks, even if it's for that little bit of time that I spent with that person. I start thinking smaller. I start accepting less. The same is true when I'm around people who moan about other people. Sometimes I might not even have an opinion on that person. And then within 10 minutes, I'll notice my mindset start to change. And it starts changing for the worse. I start wanting to moan about that person too. I don't know whether it's just to fit in or just because my mindset shifted towards the energy of that person. But I've started to notice the shift. But when I'm around people who are building things, who see opportunities where others see obstacles, who talk about their next move rather than their last excuse, everything changes. When I'm around people who are talking about something good they saw, or that they saw someone else do, or some inspiring story that they heard that changed their perspective on something, again, everything changes. I'll give you a real example. A few years back, I used to meet up with a group regularly where everyone was always complaining about something. Mostly people and sometimes other things, but always something. Interest rates, the government, their boss, the economy, even some of their other friends. Always something external holding them back. And even if it wasn't about something holding them back, it was complaining about someone for the sake of it. I don't know whether it made them feel good about themselves or anything. And often I'd find myself joining in, probably through FOMO or something. And if you're around people who always complain about money, that affects you, even if you think it doesn't. On a psychological level, it affects you. My saving rate, the amount I saved every month, dropped. I noticed I started spending a little more than I probably should. My side hustle ideas gathered dust. Procrastination seeped in, and then I'd wonder why I'm procrastinating so much. I'm not saying they were the only cause, not at all, but being around all that complaining certainly didn't help. I was becoming exactly who I surrounded myself with. And this happens online too. The more crap you read about people complaining, the more of that you'll see. Because the algorithm shows you what you tap on, what you spend most of your time reading, the type of stuff you spend most of your time reading, the stuff you share, the amount of time you spend on a particular video. It shows you more of that. That's what the algorithm is and does. But then I made a conscious choice. I started seeking out different conversations. I found a local business meetup, connected with people online who are actually doing things, building things, not just talking about why they couldn't. I started listening to funny podcasts with a business edge, podcasts that were about growth in income and in yourself as an individual, because that's what I really wanted. The shift was mental. Suddenly I'm debating strategies on investing, having index funds versus investing through hedge fund type conversations. Instead of talking about other people who have done something we might not like, we're discussing how to negotiate salary increases rather than why someone's boss is stupid. We're sharing what's working, what we're trying within our businesses, rather than what's wrong with the world. And here's the kicker. This isn't about dumping your current friends. It's about being intentional about who gets most of your prime time. Who are you having dinner with? Who are you messaging regularly? Who are you turning to for advice? What stuff are you consuming online? Even on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook? Search for something different, watch it, and you'll soon start seeing more of that stuff in your feed. Do you want to know the fastest way to change your financial future? Change your conversations and your habits that you don't even know are habits. Start talking about money differently. Not in that weird flash your cash kind of way, but honestly, openly, strategically. Share what you're learning. Ask questions. Be curious about how others are building wealth. If your current circle doesn't do this, expand that circle. Join online communities. Find local meetups. And if all that sounds uncomfortable, good, it should. You're growing. And do you know what growing outside your comfort zone feels like? Uncomfortable. That's your sign that you're doing something right. Follow people who are currently not where you are, where you want to be. Not everyone online wants to sell you a course, though it is something I've been thinking about recently. But there are also real people documenting real journeys and sharing what they know, sharing what they've learned. And this is what happens when you do this, by the way. First, you realize everyone's figuring it out as they go. Nobody has all the answers. And that person you think has it all figured out, they're probably Googling what is better, an ISA or a pension at midnight, just like you were. And that's a bit of a nudge, wink, wink to one of my videos up here somewhere. This is the second thing that happens when you do this. You pick up strategies that you never discovered just on your own. That friend who mentioned salary sacrifice for pensions a decade ago, it saved me thousands. That conversation about overpaying the mortgage versus investing, that debate changed my whole approach. That colleague that I seeked out for lunch 20 years ago lent me his copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad, which again changed my entire approach as to how I look at money. Thirdly, and this is the big one, your standards change. When everyone around you is investing 20% of their income, suddenly your 5% seems measly. It feels weak. I'm not saying you put it up to 20% overnight, but I guarantee it will double to 10. When the people around you are starting businesses, your excuses start sounding hollow. Not to others, by the way, to yourself. But let me be clear about something. This isn't about becoming some money robot who only talks about compound interest. Heck, that'd be boring. It's about surrounding yourself with people who think bigger, who take action, who see money as a tool for freedom rather than something to whinge about, to fear, to ignore. These are the people who'll tell you when you're making excuses, who'll celebrate with you when you hit that financial goal, who'll share that job opportunity or business idea because they want to see you win. And you know what's toxic? Surrounding yourself with people who make you feel out of place for wanting more, who roll their eyes when you talk about investing, who think ambition is a dirty word, who just want to complain about other people all the time. Life's too short to play small because the people around you are comfortable with their own mediocrity, even if they don't know it. So here's my challenge to you. This week, have one conversation about business, money, or investing with someone. Just one. Share something you're working on. Ask someone about their financial goals. Start normalizing these conversations. And if you're thinking, but none of my friends care about this stuff, good news, you're watching this video. There are thousands of others watching too. The community exists. You just need to get up and find it. Your network really is your net worth. Not because people will hand you money, but because the right people will hand you the mindset, the knowledge, and accountability that leads to money. Stop letting your financial future be determined by those who aren't even thinking about their own. Choose your circle intentionally. Your future self will thank you. The right people can open your eyes, but only you can change what those eyes see. Most people think that money problems are about income or discipline. They're not. They're about beliefs, your beliefs. And that's where the real work begins. This is the video that shows you why.